friends, and welcome back to the channel. Jessica here with Pin Drop Shop, and today I wanted to talk to you about the Husqvarna Viking 5610, also known as Vanessa. So this little Husqvarna Viking machine is really unique, and I wanted to go over how to thread it, how to use it, the basic parts and features, and some of the more unique qualities that it has. So let's get started. So when you have this machine, you will have this case with these nice locking clips on top. So once you remove that, you will see that you have an extension table which locks right into these grooves, which I find this whole machine to just have a super sleek design. Everything about it is so thoughtfully designed. So the extension table stores right on there. We have a really nice heavy foot pedal that's not going to run away from you as you try to sew on the floor. And what I really appreciate about it is the little storage compartment. So you can wrap up your whole cord, stick it inside there, and then when you're ready to store your machine, this pedal actually goes right on the front of the machine and locks in just like that. So I thought that was really awesome, and then you can just put your case right on top and everything's in there ready to go and super compact. So we'll take our pedal back out and put that on the floor. Take our extension table off of here. So if you want to use your extension table, you will see there's a little leg here that will undo, so we can have that be on the table. And then you'll also notice these two little grooves. So that's what's going to lock it in. So you'll take your extension table and slide it on here, and you'll go a little bit further than it would go if it were lined up, so that you can get this little pin here and another pin that's on this side to lock into those little grooves. And then you'll pull it forward like that. Okay, now I'm going to plug in the power and foot pedal into the back, and there's also a switch on the back, so we'll turn that on. Okay, so we're ready to go. So the first thing that I want to mention about how interesting and different this machine is the bobbin winder, which is actually on the side. So this is actually the bobbin winder here. So you're going to put your bobbin on this little spindle down here at the bottom, and it takes special bobbins, and then this little handle is going to come down, which has a tension disc, like two tension discs right here. Your thread is actually going to remain threaded through everything except the needle, and then come over here through these tension discs and into your bobbin here. So we'll wind a bobbin here in a second. We have our tension, and then here we have our stitch length, and our reverse is the center button that pushes in, and then here we have our stitch selector. So another thing that's a little interesting about this machine is it doesn't seem to have a stitch width capability of adjusting. So I guess you just kind of pick the stitch that you like and go with the width that it already is. They do have 3 different zigzags here that are varying in width. So I guess you just select that, and that's how it is. So tension, stitch length, and stitch selector. And then over here on the side, we have a presser foot pressure dial right here. So for heavier materials or lighter materials, if you choose, you could change this to have more or less pressure. Okay, and then up top here we have our telescopic spool pins that you'll put your thread on, and then when you're ready to store, they go back down. Another thing that just makes this machine so compact and streamlined and thoughtfully designed. Also kind of unique is how small the flywheel is over here. So then we have our little compartment that we can slide off the bottom here to have your free arm, so you can do your sleeves and pant legs and things like that. And then I'll show you the little compartment here. There's a piece of foam where you can put all your presser feet and accessories. And then down in here is where you can put all your bobbins. Okay, so let's go ahead and thread it. So you're going to grab yourself some thread and pull one of the 2 telescoping spool pins up, place your thread on there, and then we're going to come behind this first guide here. Next, you're going to bring the thread through the tension discs and down the first channel here, and down and around this guide. Then come to this side of the take-up lever and back down, and make sure it made it into the little hole here. And just come behind this little guide. There's a little black hook that's right above the needle here, and it opens on this side, and you're just going to slide the thread in there. Then of course you're going to thread the needle from front to back through the eye, but before we thread the needle, we're going to leave everything as it is and wind a bobbin. Wind a bobbin. We have our special bobbin, which has kind of like some facets inside. It's not exactly round on the inside. It's made for this machine. So everything's threaded here, and then before you thread into the eye of the needle, it's going to come over here and go into this tension disc here. And this lever has to be in this position. When it's up like this, it's just in its normal position. When it's down, it's ready to wind your bobbin. So then after it's in these tension discs here, you put the bobbin onto this little spindle, and we wind the thread around it manually. We might have to do that before it goes on, counterclockwise. And then we'll place it on the spindle here. Okay, and I'm going to hit the pedal. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. I don't believe this machine has an automatic bobbin winder stop, so when you see that it's full or as full as you need it, you just go ahead and stop it. Okay, pretty cool. So then we'll just clip the thread, return the bobbin winding handle up to the normal position, take the bobbin off. It looks really good. It did say in the manual, which I thought this was also really interesting, if you are getting bobbins that are not wound evenly or looking right, you can actually adjust this little screw. So when we look inside here, we have our very unique looking bobbin case. So we'll slide that out of there. And to insert our bobbin we wound, just like most machines, you're going to look for this little slash on the bobbin case. Okay, so see that little slash slot opening there, and then you'll take your bobbin and you want the thread to go away from you. So you can envision it's kind of like going up and over a hill or something, and the thread is going in the opposite way that the slash is. So you don't want the thread to go in like this and to be going the same direction as the slash. You want to flip it over so it's going the other way. So put that in there, and then hold that inside as you pull the thread through the little slot, and then it'll kind of click into that opening there. Okay, so now it's in there. Okay, so then here we have a little screw if you ever do need to adjust your bobbin tension. And just a note on this machine, it is very sensitive. This is the most touchy bobbin tension screw I've ever encountered, and I'm not sure why that is, but when I loosened it, it was too loose. When I tightened it just the tiniest amount, it was too tight. So I finally have it right where I think it should be, and it's producing a nice stitch, so I'm not going to mess with that anymore to show you. So the bobbin is inside of the bobbin case, and then we'll just line it up with that pointy part going with the shape inside of there, and just press, hear it click in, and we'll just leave that to hang there for the time being. Okay, now that the bobbin is wound and placed inside the bobbin case, I'll go ahead and thread the needle. just thread it front to back through the eye, pull all that slack, and then the thread will go into the little opening on the presser foot and off into the back. So we have one final step. We just have to pull up the bobbin thread through the little oval hole on the presser foot, like underneath the presser foot on the needle plate. So to do that, we'll use our needle to go down in there and get it. So I'm just holding the needle thread with one hand, and I'm turning the flywheel towards me with my other hand. That's going to cause the needle to go down and come back up. Give a little tug on the needle thread that's already in your hand, and you should see a loop appear, which we have here, and we'll pull that out, and that's our bobbin thread. So this is pretty standard for most machines, especially the side loading bobbin, and most of the older models are like this. So we have that, we're all set. I'm gonna close the door. Okay, I went ahead and adjusted. I noticed the tension wasn't set where it needed to be. It was on 3. So I went ahead and moved it to 5.5, and I noticed it looks better now. So the first stitch, when I flipped it over onto the bobbin side, it looked a little wiggly. And then the second green one on top there, that's the nice stitch I just did with the corrected tension. So it makes a really beautiful, nice straight stitch. It makes a nice quiet sound when it sews. It's just heavy, nice machine. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have the Husqvarna Viking 5610, drop a comment below. If you liked this video, please give it a like. Also check out our website, shoppindrop.com. There's a ton of free resources for you over there, like free patterns and tutorials and all kinds of other fun things. So thank you so much again, and I hope you enjoyed. See you soon.